We on? Hello, you're listening to Atrium Radio. We cover topics concerning the HafenCity University, play fresh music and include educational information as well as some light-hearted breaks. Enjoy.
We're Nate and Sophia. It's nice that you're here and enjoying with us. We're just breakfasting here. It's the closing event of the summer school, Atrium Behaviorology, with Momoyo Kaijima, a Japanese architect from Atelier Bow-Wow and professor at the ETH Zurich. We'd like to make a quick shout out to the other teachers we worked with, which is Bernd Knies and Christoph Heinemann, as well as to President Walter Palker, who's joining in on our breakfast, and to our sponsor, Christian Roggenburg, who's representing the Max Hoffmann. So, the atrium has been a common space to meet and exchange ideas among inhabitants and guests in Roman times. A fountain at the center gave the place the sense of nature and stands functionally and spiritually as a symbol for the sustainability of space and community. Over time, the use and meaning of the atrium has been transformed, but it is still present in the global architectural production, especially in numerous buildings of the HafenCity University. These spaces are wide, open and empty. Their potential is hidden behind their representative function. When we started with analyzing the atriums, we discovered several things. Right now, the atrium of the HafenCity University is used mostly as a transfer zone, which is truly sad, since space has many qualities such as light, use, sound, and is architecture-wise connecting the different parts of the university as well as inside and outside. With this installation, we wanted to achieve two things. First, to give the space a homely appearance, which invites you to linger, to really make use of the present qualities. Second is a program. We think that the university has a lack of inner publicness. In German you would say, ein Fehlen von Öffentlichkeit. What we need is to give the opportunity of a voice to every member of our university. Therefore we founded the Atrium Radio, which you are listening at this very moment. We are streaming live right now, but you will be able to listen to it later on as well. The thought is to make this a continuing program, which everyone can join in on. But for now, enjoy the song and listen to our first song.
The first song is by a Hamburg-based band, Das Bisschen Totschlag. It was from February and has a really pretty live-drawn video on. Just enjoy.
Moin Moin, ihr hört gerade Atrium Radio. Wir beschäftigen uns mit den Themen rund um die HafenCity Universität, spielen frische Musik und bieten euch das Programm mit informativen Stellen sowie unbeschwerten Pausen. Habt viel Spaß beim Zuhören.
Now we're gonna take a quick look at the weather. We have Lisa as our correspondent for the inside and Torben for the outside.
And everyone is invited to get breakfast. There are also fresh eggs. So we have Dominic here, who prepared the weather report for the next 3 days.
Well, thanks so much, Lisa. We're here live on 24th of August. It's Friday or shortly after 6 a.m. The weather today is a bit cloudy. It's 28 degrees, but you don't need a pullover or a jacket. You just can stay in your t-shirt and feel comfy all around. The same goes up for Saturday and Sunday. 34 degrees at the high and 27 degrees at the low, and Sunday is going to be super sunny, so you can just prepare for a fresh and relaxed weekend outside with your lovely ones.
Great, thank you so much, Dominic. So we are now going inside to Torben, who prepared the weather report for the atrium.
Yeah, this is Torben from the inside. Can you hear me? No.
So today, we have a special guest interview. Professor Christopher Dell is visiting us in the set. As many of you already know, he's a theoretician and composer. Currently, he teaches as professor for urban forms of knowledge, organizational theory, and relation forms of practice in the research and teaching program for urban design. He's also director of ETH Institute for Improvisation Technology, Berlin, personnel. I really enjoyed last semester listening to his lectures, especially the Panopticon lecture. Today he's here to explain us a bit about the Open University concept and next semester seminar that is going to occur in our university.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. It's great to be here at your radio. Super exciting, and to articulate and disseminate what a society, and in that sense also a university, can be. Now I want to, as you have asked me to, reflect a little bit on the seminar that will take place next semester, and that's also a meta seminar, you could say, because it tries to ask what a university means, how a university works, and how a university produces knowledge. And in that sense, it's very interesting because this is a new opportunity to reflect critically upon the own practice on how we do this. And for example, we are a university that has the topic of spatial configuration, and we talk a lot about spatial configurations outside of the university, but never or rarely about the spatial configuration inside the university. And so this is now the task to do. How can we create formats, and how can we structure formats to have a new way of grasping the urban, but also to understand how we, in our work on mediality, project on the urban. Yeah? And this is also part of your radio to do this. Yeah? And so this radio is also kind of a start of that. What is important is to keep in mind that this is a historical project also. In that sense, it is a aim of that seminar to consider earlier projects like the Wuch der Maas of the constructivist movement, the Bauhaus School, or the IFG Ulm, or the Black Mountain College, but also, for example, the Freie Universität of Joseph Beuys, which was the first university that also conceptualized the social differences in society that are connected to the production of knowledge. And I think that will be also a very important aspect. How can we cross boundaries? How can we cross social gaps? How can we cross the usual kind of categories that we have and really become interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary, or how I even want to call it. It's all about the hang and creating a hang together, and that's also a part of what you do at the summer school.
Yeah, thank you a lot for the interview. Hola, estás escuchando Atrium Radio. En esta radio hablamos sobre temas relacionados con la Universidad HafenCity. Además ponemos música divertida, incluso información educativa y un espacio para ti para descansar. ¡Que disfrutes!
Now we have Angie here. Hi, Angie.
So, your breakfast here is sponsored by Al Natura. Bread, rice, muesli, sausage and beans. In Al Natura, you could have everything you like for a good morning. We guarantee you 100% vegan fruits, 100% human staff, and 100% full price. Now in cooperation with Atrium Radio, 0 discount. Okay, then maybe we are now going for some live interview with our satisfied customer for our free breakfast. Hello. So I'm here to do an interview for Al Natura product user. How do you think of the material, food material you're cooking right now?
Oh, we are doing scrambled tofu, and it's really good. But Leonie is also doing fresh eggs. Maybe you need to ask her.
Okay. So yeah, then we have Leonie here, who's doing scrambled egg.
Yeah, and it's really great because it's
well, it smells like egg, of course.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so we have the first one, who's Dominic, who's prepared to taste it, or you want to have
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah? And then we can have like a first feedback on these scrambled eggs.
Just gonna give it a
Hot,
start.
hot.
Yeah, those are definitely hot. Well, let's see. It's best Atrium quality.
Best Atrium quality. Okay, then we get back to the radio and we continue with the program. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Angie. Now we have some music for you. It's a very special one. It's yet unreleased. You will be able to listen to it by next month. Everywhere you can listen to songs like Spotify, iTunes, wherever you like. It's by Charles Fear and Der Monarch Productions. It's called Walkman. Enjoy.
For you to judge, and my time is used, just only need for you to rush. Got me all gassed up, blue fire in my guts. Yeah, I'm done saving you, pay no money, finally had enough. Done saving you, pay no money, finally had enough. Yeah, I got enough. You, the pain, the money got it. Got some wishes on my list. I'm gonna fulfill for me, not buying anymore. By the time you stop billing me, you're the special girl that pulled me on my killing spree. I'm the gentleman, only kill it when it's killing me. Gentlemen, only kill it when it's killing me. I'm a special girl to put me on my killing spree. Gentlemen, only kill it when it's killing me. feeling brand new right until I push your buttons. Seems like old moves never really lose their function. Get a talkman for the talking, let a walkman do the walking. There's a reason I left you, 2 sets of tracks. If I return, I bring more than just sexy back. You put in the tape, now it's fault is the decks. I wrecked them so far gone, don't bother, baby, catch your breath. So then the door slide shut right after me. Miss you ain't late, you never saw me leave. Couple clues on second thought, 2 footsteps through the bay. My head been burning down, never up to this already. Trip my feet and crack my wrist. Machine skip the beat and scratch my disc. Unstrip my tapes and rack my riffs. Wondering if it just goes on like this. Just go like this. Baby, will it just go like this? Baby, never trust blindly based on pure assumptions. Had you feeling brand new right until I push your buttons. Seems like old moves never really lose their function. Get a talkman for the talking, let a walkman do the walking.
So thanks to Charles Fiel for providing us with this song. If you want to find out more, go to intellectoverload.org.
こんにちは。あなたはアトリエ部のラジオを聞いています。ハーフェンシティ大学に関する話題をカバーし、新鮮な音楽を演奏し、教育的な情報と軽やかな休憩を皆さんに提供しています。楽しいです。
So this was Momoyo Kaijima from Atelier Bow-Wow speaking, and she's also teaching at the ETH Zurich, and her faculty is Architecture Behaviorology. Momoyo, maybe you could tell us a bit more about Architecture Behaviorology. What kind of, what is it describing?
Okay, simply says, our title is Architecture Behaviorology is related to the 3 topics around the architecture. One is people, behavior, and one is climate behavior, like heat and wind and water. And third one is architecture itself, so architecture behaviorology. So it's a more kind of genealogy of the architecture, of typology. And we could observe these 3 levels for focusing about the architecture behaviorology to analysis. And in ETH, we have a 6 years program. 1 year we select the one theme. So last year I selected the window, and also the 1 semester site in Japan, and another semester site in Switzerland. So that means in 1 year we can compare 2 different building culture through architecture behaviorology themes. And last year window, Japanese window, a very interesting, lot of sliding door, and Japanese traditional building has a column and beam structure system. So that's why the window could be more flexible element for reacting the people behavior or seasonal issue or event and so on. And when we go to the Switzerland, window is very expensive material because glass is very, very expensive the first period. And also Switzerland are very cold countries compared from the Japanese mild climate. So that's why windows should be more limited size, and also the glass itself is very expensive. So it's like a little bit of jewelry, we understood. So the Japanese building itself is totally basically open to the mild climate, but Switzerland is make a hole with jewelry, something like that. It's a very contradictional behavior itself of the window. And we understood very interesting difference. And then this year, the next 1 year, is we focus on the timber, because Japan and Switzerland has a lot of timber resources. And unfortunately also the timber industry locally, so sometimes it's not so good condition because of the a lot of pressure for the export timber and different countries coming. So that's why we propose some interesting new effect to engage to the timber culture in locals.
Oh, that sounds really interesting.
Thank you.
And so you look for typologies and special interests in them. And is this also why you chose the atrium as an interesting topic?
Yes. Yes. Last visit, maybe in early summer. So we visited. I visited the first time HafenCity University, and I found the atrium is very empty. Yes. But maybe because of the summertime or because of the World Cup, I don't know exactly. But yeah, I think atriums originally is coming from the very important typology of the architecture in Rome, from Roman city. But nowadays, atrium is going to be different spatial typology to be a kind of interpreted into the public space in large scale of block urban plannings. And then it's sometimes just for excuse, but also it's given them very important opportunity to think about also safetyness and also the evacuation system or fire protection, and also it gives light and heat and air, and also it might be mostly used as an entrance. So that's why it's a very important meeting place. So, but in university, of course, they worried about at first the safety issue, and they should also protect these kind of things. So that's why maybe a little bit atrium is an untouchable zone for everybody. But I think if we can make a rule, or we can find some good solution to negotiate the rule and also activities together, so that might be a very, very good place for exchanging the culture and the backgrounds. So that hopefully this atrium behaviorology summer school could be activate this kind of discussion. And firstly, we asked the student to observe the condition atrium from the existing reference, and also this local existing atrium itself. And the student found the sound or some light or emptiness or activity and so on. So this project related to this kind of observing from the students.
Thank you very much for the interview. It was great to hear everything from you. And I think we'll pass it on now.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. So, it's time for our first bad joke of the day. Two muffins were sitting in an oven. One turned to the other and said, "Hey, it's pretty hot in here, isn't it?" The other turned and shouted, "Oh my god, a talking muffin." And I hope you found that funny. We got another song. And it's going to be introduced again by Julia. It's another band.
Alright, our next song is again by a Hamburg-based band. It's 4 guys, no girl. They have no coming up shows yet so far, but already like 552 likes on Facebook. And the next song is called Her, and I guess it's a love song.
Isn't this what time completely would define for so long? Can't seem to catch her eye. Took a while from pride. Don't even slow your stride. I'm waiting for my dreams to comply.
So, we're back again, and we have some special guests to introduce you to.
Give me a P.
P.
Give me an L.
L.
Give me an A.
A.
Give me an N.
N.
Give me a T.
T.
That's right, we've got some plants here in the atrium, and we have got their proud owners lining up to talk to us about their stories.
Hello, I'm Dacarex. I'm a sort of grass, and we grasses have been around ever since the beginning of Earth. But millions of years have passed away, and more of us emerge around the world. And why around the world? Because some of us like heat, some of us like rather colder places, some of us like dry places, and then some of us like really wet dams. So, I personally have right now around 2,000 siblings living around the world. I unfortunately don't know each of them. But right now I'm the atrium grass. I'm living here in your atrium, and you have to water me a bit but not too much. You have to give me a cool temperature but not a too cool temperature. Also a hot temperature but not a too hot one. So I'm pretty moderate. Just love me because I'm a baby plant after all.
Thank you so much. Now on to the next plant.
Hallo zusammen, ich erzähle euch etwas über die Begonia Rex und ich erzähle euch eine kleine Geschichte über mein Hase, der auch Rex geheißen hat, als ich ganz klein war. Und ich habe immer gut zu dem geschaut und ihn sehr gern gehabt, aber eines Tages habe ich vergessen, ihn ins Käfig zu tun. Sie haben ein grosses Aussenkäfig in unserem Garten. Und dann ist der Fuchs gekommen und am nächsten Morgen ist mein kleiner Rex leider tot gewesen. Und darum ist es ganz wichtig, dass ihr Sorge tragt zur Begonia Rex, die kleine Pflanze mit den roten Blättern. Und sie immer liebevoll gießen, zu ihr schaut und nicht vergessen sie zu gießen, sonst stirbt sie genau so, wie mein kleiner Hase müssen sterben.
And with this serious message, we're gonna go to Leonie.
Hello everybody, I'm going to introduce Eloise. Eloise actually is a very lonely plant, but she likes to be lonely. And so it's a quite difficult situation for her at the moment because she's surrounded by other plants. And Eloise is also, she has an eclectic taste. She's rather old, and I hope she's able to adapt to the new situation here. But Eloise also has traveled a lot, so maybe she can tell the others a lot of stories, and maybe, well, I hope it's a new beginning for her.
So all support Eloise. And now, Samuela.
Hallo miteinander. Der Heteropanax war früher in den Schweizer Bergen. Da hat er es nicht so gut gehabt. Es war recht kalt. Da haben wir gedacht, wir bringen ihn auf Hamburg, weil es da immer so schön Wetter ist. Und ganz wichtig bei diesem Baum ist, dass er täglich umarmt wird. So stirbt er. Ganz schnell. Also umarmt den Baum täglich.
Thank you. Now on to Jing.
I am the banana plant, and we are a very prolific family, and you can find our babies in almost all of the world's supermarkets, no matter what the season, even though we only naturally live in the tropics. And actually, did you know that we're a species of grass? So we're related to the carex, which is down the bottom, and also the rice that you eat, and the wheat. And in the mountains in Thailand, they would cut us down to make compost because we would come up again within a few weeks. So we are a very resilient family. Please do take care of me though here, because this is not the tropics and we don't know what happens in this atrium.
This is my plant, John. He is an adagro, and he is pretty grassy. I first found him amongst all the other grass near to my house, What was different about John is that every day I came home, he had moved a little bit closer to my house, until one day he was sitting on my doorstep like a parcel. Naturally, I helped him make his next step in his life and took him inside. He needs minimal care and is lovely to have around.
The last plant which we will introduce to you is called Echinanthus. Echinanthus comes from the Greek words pudency and flowers that were blooming in bright red color. Of course, what we have here is an evergreen example. Her name is Gerda. Gerda is on the one hand side a dear and fun maid to hang out with. That's what she does. She just hangs out in the atrium all the time. And on the other side, she is very emotional, and she easily gets emotional, pretty caught up in things. So she might not be the right one to catch up on your problems, but maybe you will tell her about your successes, your love life, just all the good stuff. No, we have another joke for you. Do you know what a hipster does away? An Instagram.
您好，您正在收听 Atrium Radio。我们涵盖有关港口城市大学的主题，播放流行音乐、教育信息，请享用轻松的休闲时间。
And so, we are lucky here to have Yang, who is carrying out his PhD research into interior public space at the University of Sheffield. And so we can talk a little bit about how this is relevant to atrium spaces. Yang, can you tell me the definition of the atrium?
Yeah, this actually is a long story to tell. The definition today is different from the definition of atrium in the history. So it could be dated back to the Roman type. The atrium space is a centerpiece of the residential house in Roman time. And the atrium was the open center court with enclosed rooms on all sides. And in the middle of the atrium was the implurium. It is a shallow pool sunken into the floor to catch the rainwater from the roof. And the atrium space is usually beautifully decorated, and a lavished furnished room. And some atrium space contains a little chapel to express the ancestral spirit. The definition of atrium in modern time architecture. An atrium is a larger open air or skylight covered space surrounded by a building. It provides light and ventilation to the interior. Modern atrium was developed in the 19th and the 20th century. It is often several stories high and having a glazed roof or large windows, and often located immediately beyond the main entrance door.
And so, how would you say an atrium differs from the perspective of designer, developers, and users?
Okay, that's a good question. For designer, the atrium is a popular design feature. It makes people feel of space and light. And secondly, it also provides the opportunity to create new types of spaces in a building. And they also cause some problem when designer want to put atrium in his or her design. Because of the fire control, some criticism about the atrium design that poorly designed atrium can spread the fire very quickly. And for the developer, I think it's a prestigious aesthetic that can increase commercial value and appeal. The second, the downside is it creates unuseful vertical space, which could otherwise be occupied by additional floors. And the atrium for users, I think, it is a dynamic and stimulating interior that provides shelter from the external environment, while it can also maintain a visual link with the environment.
Okay, so can you tell me about any modern architect who is practicing his work in a way that an atrium space is very important to their work?
Yes, I don't know, you guys may know or may not know the father of the modern atrium, the John Bottman. He's a fellow of American Institute of Architects. He was born in 1924, and unfortunately he passed away last year, so we cannot have him today. But we can introduce some part of his stories here. So John Bottman is an American neo-futuristic architect and a real estate developer, widely known for his popularizing the hotels and the office with multiple storied interior atrium. He had a particularly large impact on the cityscape of his hometown Atlanta, with the Peachtree Center complex serving as downtown's business and tourism. The Peachtree Center area includes Portman-designed Hyatt, Westin, and Marriott hotels. This atrium design is in the forms of symmetric squares and circles. The architectural elements in his atrium design include seating, fountains, glass elevator for sightseeing, landscape like different kinds of plants, and cantilevered aircraft art statue. The design of the Peachtree Center also stimulates the adjacent business district and helped Atlanta win the 1996 Summer Olympic Games. At that time, his proposal for inputting the atrium in the hotel design is far beyond many developers' imaginations, and many investors didn't buy it. And John Bottman, as real estate developer, has to board them in order to realize his design.
Thank you, Yang. Fascinating stuff, I think we all agree. And also very important to the use of the spaces at the HCU. Good luck with your research.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now we have a little segment about how to behave in the atrium. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Adrian.
So, do you miss the old atrium?
By old you mean what?
Like how it was 1 week ago?
1 week ago? Not really, no, I prefer the one that I'm walking through now.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. So, would you recommend dancing in the atrium?
I would, if there would be some music, just without any music, and I think it's still missing.
Yeah. So you should definitely get involved to bring some music into the atrium. Hey Nate, what's the craziest thing you did in the atrium?
Wow, I've only been here a week, but we've been having pizza on the floor, just chilling, doing some rearranging of the furniture. It's been pretty crazy stuff, I think.
Thanks. So, hi, what's your name?
My name is Marian.
You're walking through the atrium and you have an awesome idea for how the space could be used. You think again and think, oh, it's a stupid idea, and go home and having told no one. What should you have done?
What, with my crazy idea?
Yeah.
I should have told it somebody.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
You tell it to the radio.
Yeah, you tell it to the radio.
Imagine you're walking through the atrium. You see a plant in desperate need of water. What do?
I think you should start crying heavily, and water them by it. No, but for real, we have developed a special pump which lets you go high up to the ceiling, which you should definitely use. Now we have a next song coming up.
Alright, our next song is again by Hamburg-based band Das bisschen Totschlag, playing next am Stadtteilfest 250 Jahre Veddel on the 1st of September, and a song called Poached Eggs, Perfect for Breakfast.
No. How'd you get off? Oh, here we go.
get to know each other in the last days. We had 2 Pechakucha nights. Pechakucha is Japanese and means chatting, and so you have 10 slides and 20 seconds each to introduce yourself. And one part, which we liked quite a lot, was by Torben, who read a poem to us, which we will now read to you.
So the poem is by Paul Violi, a New York writer, and the title is Counterman. We're going to read it with 3 persons. What'll it be?
Roast on beef on rye with tomato and mayo.
What do you want on it?
A swipe of mayo, pepper but no salt.
You got it. Roast beef on rye. You want lettuce on that?
No, just tomato and mayo.
Tomato and mayo. You got it. Salt and pepper?
No salt, just a little pepper.
You got it. No salt. You want tomato?
Yes, tomato, no lettuce.
No lettuce. You got it. No salt, right?
Right, no salt.
You got it. Pickle?
No pickle, just tomato and mayo and pepper.
Pepper.
Yes, a little pepper.
Right, a little pepper. Okay, no pickle.
Right, no pickle.
You got it. Next.
Roast beef on whole wheat, please, with lettuce, mayonnaise and a centre slice of beefsteak tomato. The lettuce splayed, if you will, in a Beaux-Arts derivative of classical acanthus, and the roast beef thinly sliced, folded in a multi-foil arrangement. That eschews Bragdonian pretensions or any idea of divine geometric projection, for that matter, but simply provides a setting for the tomato to form a medallion with a dab of mayonnaise as a fleuron. And, as eclectic as this may sound, if the mayonnaise can also be applied along the crust in a Vitruvian scroll and as a festoon below the medallion, that would be swell.
You mean like the Cathedral St. Pierre in Geneva?
Yes, but the swag more like the one below the rosette at the Royal Palace in Amsterdam.
You got it. Next. Standing in line, getting a plate, knife, fork, spoon. This is the Mensa song. Lentils, tomatoes, cucumbers, curries. This is the Mensa song. Dessert with friends at the harbor. This is the Mensa song.
Salut! Asculți Radio Atrium. Abordăm subiecte legate de Universitatea HafenCity, difuzăm muzică bună, informații educaționale și, nu în ultimul rând, avem pauze scurte și amuzante. Bucură-te de program! Hello, I'm quite new to Hamburg. I've been here the past week for my workshop with the Atrium thing. And I'll be spending the weekend in Hamburg. What should I visit?
Well, that's kind of a long answer. So today we're actually kind of planning after the workshop tonight to go to the Gängerviertel Geburtstag Liebe. It's a full program today and tomorrow when you can go to the sauna after 8 and after 10 there is a kind of silent disco stage. Furthermore, there is a Kampachnel summer festival that is finishing this weekend with a full day also program that ends at midnight. There is the Africa Festival Hamburg, a Lafia in Altona. And tomorrow there is also the Good Cause Festival Ohr zur Welt, where you can listen to live music, and if you buy your ticket, you also support a preventive healthcare program in Ecuador.
And what if I'm really hungry? What should I do about the food?
Well, that's very simple. I think you should maybe eat a Fischbrötchen in the harbor near Altona or Langdungsbrücke.
And what if I'm vegan?
Well, then you just take the fish out of it and eat the bread.
Oh, all right. Thank you. But what other tourist attractions are there?
The first things I could recommend is taking the ferry from the Elbphilharmonie after Bessenet. The Elbphilharmonie is a concert hall that was planned by Hexa number 1, started in 2007 and officially opened last year. The glass facade construction refers to the water waves near the Speicherstadt, and it's Italia's inhabitant building in Hamburg. You can continue after visiting the Elfi with the ferry on the Harburg onto the Fischmarkt. There, for example, you can have on Sunday in the morning from 6 to 10 a huge fish market where you can buy a lot of legumes, fish and plants. Besides, you can also go to the Elbstrand and on your way see a lot of spectacular views. You can also take the Elbtunnel, and places in general like St. Pauli, Sternschanze and the whole town hall are also worth to walk by.
Wow, that's really interesting, thank you. But what if I want to visit some other architectural monuments or other museums? Where should I go?
Well, you have thousands of museums like International Maritime Museum, Altona Museum, Museum of Arts and Crafts, Deichtorhallen. And you can visit historical buildings like Michael Church, Chile House, Dockland Office Building, Flakturm, most known from the bunker for the Übelungefährlich Club.
And what if I just want a place to chill and maybe have a barbecue?
Well, Hamburg is a city that is characterized by canals, Alster or the Elbe Lake. But if you also want to have like a place around from nature, you can also go to the Altona Balkon und Planten und Blumen.
All right, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Buongiorno a tutti, state ascoltando Atrium Radio. Copriamo argomenti riguardanti l'Università HafenCity, suoniamo musica freschissima, includiamo informazioni educative e pause spensierate. Godetevi la serata, arrivederci.
Now we have some awesome book tips coming up. First, Marika.
Okay, hello. I would like to suggest a work. The title of the published work is Vom guten Wohnen, 4 Züricher Hausbiografien von 1915 bis in die Gegenwart, from Marie Glaser. It concerns basic questions about stability and resistance of housing construction. In part, the project is also published on the webpage of the ETH Wohnforum and is described as follows. By using the methods of home biographies, quality concept based on different age housing construction of various property developers in Zurich will be examined of durability. What has proven itself? What is problematic? Where are continuities? Which qualities are perceived? On the one hand by the residents, on the other hand by the owners and also by the public. The focus of attention are less spectacular buildings. We believe that valued housing constructed at different times for different social groups can provide new insights into the permanent qualities of architecture in general. Therefore, the focus of the work is on everyday architecture in residential construction. Everyday architecture in residential construction is shaped by the requirements of usability over many years. More than half of the funds in the European construction sector are now invested in preservation, renovation and renewal. But in relation to new buildings, these themes seem still boring, costly and time-consuming for most architects. Basic knowledge about the durability of material and construction already exists. On the other hand, studies are missing on the social and individual handling of the built space. This is where the home biography starts. How prove housing construction itself over a long time? What is suitable for everyday use? We know less about how residents use their home and how its owners deal with long-standing properties. To be aware of whether residential buildings are sustainable, you have to get an impression on site and having conversation with their residents. They know best about whether a house is suitable for long-term living or not. Likewise, the administration and the ownership have important knowledge regarding the potential for the durability because they are the experts when it comes to maintenance. They all are responsible for the history and the career of durable residential buildings. Their knowledge and their action is embedded into the house over time.
Thank you. Now on to the next book tip. Castania.
Hello. I recommend you the book of a famous German architect, Bruno Taut. It is called Life and People of Japan.
and it talks about his 3-year-long exile time, and he got the chance to stay in a traditional Japanese house. It's sort of like a diary or field research. He mixes it a bit, and there's nice drawings inside. It's about this Middle European couple, him and his wife, trying to adjust to the strange way of living in Japan, and he notices many things and finds them very unusual, but in this 3-year period he will slowly notice why the things are like they are, and I think it's really good to read this, and it's easy to read, and a really nice night lecture. Thank you so much. Now Ching.
Hello. I would like to talk about a book by James C. Scott. He's an American sociologist, and one of his books is called Seeing Like a State, where I guess he offers a particular perspective on modernization and how the state always have this desire for legibility, which is, I guess, a sense of transparency. In the book, he used the Haussmann reform of Paris, like how Paris used to be a slum, and then there are all these irregular streets, but at some point the state wanted to be able to control and see through things, and with the modern movement, that's how they created the city that we see today. I think with regard to design, what I find really interesting is that as designers, we're often looking from sort of like the God's eye view from above. This desire to regulate and standardize things. But in this book, James C. Scott pointed out that actually when you try to shine light onto things, you're also creating shadows and these creases in between where these unexpected things happen, things that hasn't been planned. These folds and creatures and strange relationships which are somehow complex and cannot be simplified. So for me, it's really interesting to think about the dynamic between these two and how as designers we can be aware of this and consider how our designs fit into these two different modes of being. And now?
Thank you. Next is Leonie.
I want to introduce you to the book Newcomers for Europe, which is put together by Flavian Menu, and I'm currently reading this book, and it's about, as it says, it's about commons, and it's describing what commons are, and it's actually there was an event with lots of lectures from different architectural offices, and they also introduced this session, and then after that Flavian Menu had a lot of interviews with those offices, and they are published in this book, and they're really interesting. And the Spectre book says on the website about this book that it captures the vitality and the doubts of a new generation of architects living at a key moment in the history of the European Union and questioning the role of the profession and the architect's ability to produce projects and spaces for the common good with an alternative set of resources and profit structure. Yeah, it's worth reading, so I hope I'll finish soon so you can borrow it as well.
Brilliant. Thank you for those tips. Depending on how long it takes you to read a book, that could keep you going for a month or maybe 3 years. So, this is our last song by a super talented friend of mine from back home in the UK. He's called Foot Shooter, and the song is called Thunderstrut.
سلام، شما به رادیو اتریوم از دانشگاه هافنسیتی گوش میکنید. این برنامه مختص برنامه‌های آموزشی متنوع و جذاب همراه با پخش موزیکی میباشد. امیدوارم لذت ببرید.
So, That brings us to the end of our first ever Atrium Radio live session here in the HCU Atrium. Thank you for listening online and here in the Atrium, and thank you to everyone who took part, and to amazing cooks who made the amazing breakfast. We came up with this idea only a few days ago, and we hope it illustrates how we can start to create a permanent student-inspired voice in order to challenge the way we use our public spaces here at the university. Emphasis on public. These spaces are for us, so we should be nurturing how it develops and grows. If you're interested in getting involved, would like to share your ideas, or have any suggestions for future shows, please head over to our Facebook page at Atrium Radio. Give it a like and send us a message. We also have a free handout in the Atrium explaining what we did this week and outlining how you can get involved. Come down and take one. You're welcome. We would really love to run a 1 hour slot once a week to cover anything HCU related, or non-related for that matter, which can inspire discussion within the university. So that's it. The ball is rolling. Water those plants, grow your atrium. Ciao.
That's the final jingle.